Ugh. Welcome everyone. Well, I'm just going to talk to you a bit about myself and how I got to where I am today. Right, simple as that. No scripts, nothing. I'm just gonna talk to you guys about how I got to where I am today from going around from going from making $500 in 2 months to making 6.8K, and now I'm doing 10K weeks, right? And I'm not just saying that to be arrogant or anything, but I'm just saying that I'm 19, right? I'm young. I've still got a lot to learn, but you can do it, right? You've just got to do the right things each day. And I mean, this video, I'm just going to talk to you a bit about myself and how I got to where I am today, right? Because it wasn't easy. I'm not going to tell you that it's the next get rich quick scheme because it's not, right? If anything in life, if you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to be a professional footballer, if you're trying to do anything, you have to put in the work and you have to do something, and you're going to have to do things that you're not comfortable doing, right? Late nights, going to meetings, taking calls, right? And it's part of the game. But I'm just going to give you a bit of background about myself and how I got to where I am today. And obviously, this video, I'm just going to go over a bit about myself, as I said. But if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're someone who can't concentrate and doesn't really care about pushing themselves and making that first 10K month and pushing it to 20 to 30, then this video is not for you, right? I want people to be part of my team who are motivated. They want to change their lives. They want to help their family. They want to live their best life possible, right? And do things that they've dreamed of as a kid. So if that's you, then obviously carry on watching this video. But if you're not someone who wants to change your life and tell your family you can now retire and stuff like that, then this isn't for you. Because I help people who are struggling to make any sort of money online, but they love going to the gym. They have a passion for posting on their content online, and I will help them monetize and grow to 10K a month, right? That's what I do. So, yeah, just to give you a bit of background check if you didn't know already. So, as a kid, football was my life, right? I grew up playing football. I joined Crystal Palace from the age of 6 years old, right? I remember my first training session. It was a nightmare. I remember trying to throw up in the toilet just so my dad couldn't send me to the training session, right? I was bad, right? And I'm not afraid to say it anymore, but as a kid growing up, I was like a lot of you guys. I was nervous, I was anxious, I didn't want to go outside. I used to like grapple onto the car and throw up, try and force myself to throw up in the car just so I didn't have to go to school or go outside, right? Because I was nervous and I didn't want to push myself. But the one thing that got me through that was sport, football, and like just being around people who are also on that grind and love to play football and want to get better, right? And that was my story. As a young kid, I was very I lived in a comfort zone. I didn't want to push myself. I didn't want to get out there, right? I was comfortable doing what I was doing, and that was playing football. And when I joined Crystal Palace, that took me out my comfort zone. Anyway, fast forward 10 years, I'd learned so much, right? I played football all around the world, left my parents from a very young age, and the pressure as well, right? Because a lot of people don't see it, and the only people who will really understand are the people who've actually been through it. And from a young age, from the age of 8 to now, right? Every single year, it's are you good enough? Will you get better? Are you good enough to? Are we going to offer you another contract, right? And I can remember sitting outside the meeting room every time, right? We used to have it once a year. My hands were sweating, everything. I was just like, I was literally a nervous rat. I hated it. right? I hated it. But I always, I mean, I was there for 10 years, so I obviously done very well. But by the age of 16, obviously, I got released. I don't know if you guys know about the Crystal Palace documentary. It was on ITV, I'm pretty sure. I wasn't the main character, but I was in it. Um, and yeah, it was pretty big. So you can kind of go back, watch how what we kind of went through and stuff like that. But it was very interesting, and honestly, I learned so much, right? And every lesson I learned through my sport, building discipline, building consistency, and just getting out of my comfort zone, transitioned into my life, into my business, right? And as I started taking gym even more seriously at the age of 16, that's when my life completely transformed, right? I was more confident, I was stronger, right? I looked better. My confidence, my self-esteem completely changed, right? Within 2 years, I was a completely different person. I started posting more on social media. I didn't really care what people thought. Obviously, when we start and when you start posting content, there's always going to be that thing in the back of your head. Even now, right? What are they going to think? But once you get past that, then it's an easy breeze. It's an easy breeze. Fast forward a few years, I'd been to the gym, looking good, six pack, eight pack, and I was just feeling so much better in my own body, right? My content was going well. I was getting millions and millions of views. I grew my social media to over 500,000 followers across all my platforms. I'm pretty sure I'm pushing almost 700K now, as I make this video, and it's still growing, right? And none of this would have been possible if I didn't go to the gym, right? And you're probably watching this, you thinking, oh yeah, he's played for Crystal Palace, he's gone on trial at Tottenham, Newcastle, all these clubs, and yeah, I'm not like him, but I'm actually very similar to a lot of you guys, right? And a lot of you guys probably have a better physique than me as well, right? But I managed to transition my life from football to the online fitness industry, which has helped me generate over $10,000 in 1 week, right? 1 week I made 10K. Like, honestly, tell me that 7 months ago, I would have laughed in your face. Honestly, I would have laughed in your face because I didn't think it was true. I used to see all these guys online, these Miami gurus driving around in supercars saying, yeah, online fitness coaching is the way. And I mean, I took that first step and it was the best decision I ever made, right? And but before I made that big transition, it was a small wins beforehand, right? Because I'd been posting content for like 3.5 years before I transitioned into the online fitness coaching business. And the main things that got me through it was building my personal brand, right? I loved creating content, and I didn't always love creating content. Sometimes I knew I had to do it, and I knew something in the back of my head was always like, Jack, I know if you keep posting content, eventually things will come to you, right? If you work on yourself, if you invest in yourself, right, things will come. It's like a magnet in a way, right? The more you invest in yourself, the more you invest in other people helping you, the more you're going to improve. Right? Simple as that. Me personally, I've almost invested over $20,000 in myself, right? And I've only been doing this for like 6 months now. Obviously, it depends when you're watching this video, but in these past 6 months of starting my online coaching business, I've managed to go from making $500 in 2 months to making 10K in a week, right? So it is possible, and I'm 19 years old. So if you're thinking, "Oh, I'm too young, I haven't got the knowledge," then you are the selling point. People are not paying you because you have the best qualifications, the best this, the best that. They're paying you because they know you've been through those same hard times they've been through and you've got at the other side, right? So when people know you can solve their problem, they will pay anything for it, right? And I noticed that when I got into my coaching business, and even with building my personal brand before I even got into that, I had people coming up to me asking me, "How did you do that? How did you do this? How did you build your physique?" Right? And I would give free tips, free this, free that, and it was it was around, let me think, it was around August, it was around October. By the end of October, yeah, it was around October when I realized that I need to make a living out of this, right? Football's not going my way. I, in my second year scholar, when I was 18, I went on trial at Newcastle, Tottenham, and Everton, right? But I ended up breaking my hand, snapping the thumb, literally, and having surgery. Was out for 4 months, came back, smashed it. Obviously, went to Everton and then done my back up there. So throughout that year, I was probably out for around 8 to 9 months, and it was hard, right? Because generally, football was my life, right? And it still is today. I wouldn't be Jack Lowe if it wasn't for football. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the gym and football now. Because what it's done for me is amazing. It's magical. Not I would never have thought it would have I would be in the position I'm today, right, without it. And from that, even just it's not even about the fitness business as well. I've met so many amazing creators through my personal brand, through boosting my social media. Like for example, a massive guy out there, Jeremy Lynch. There's a guy called Lewis Matthews on like all these football guys. They're huge, and I shoot content with them now and everything like that. But it never would have been possible if I didn't start my personal brand and I didn't stay consistent, right? And obviously, you have to, we all have to live, right? So I started transitioning to the business side. I saw that all these guys were doing this online fitness coach, and I was like, oh, that's sick. Like, jam, I love fitness. I love going to the gym. I love pushing weights about. And from there, right, I saw people trying. I tried. I literally did 2 months of research, figuring it all out by myself. Right, I was on Trainerize. I was doing trying to practice my sales stuff online. All of this, all of that. Right, and I made around 500 to £800 or something like that. Right, which it wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. In 2 months, okay, cool. But the day I invested in myself and I started following the authoritative fitness coaching methods, I ended up making more money before 9:30 a.m. than I did in a whole 2 months. Right, I can still remember the day so clearly. It was an evening, right? Because I was on call with my mentor, who was going to be my mentor at the time, and obviously the program was quite expensive. I literally had no money to. I had probably £300 to £400 saved up. Right, that was it. That was it because at that time as well, a few months beforehand, I'd obviously tried to start my own clothing line. Right, I haven't spoke about this much online, but if you go to my bio, if you search up Trust the Timing, I do have a clothing line, and with my clothing brand at the time, I ended up getting messed over by my manufacturer. Right, I spent 4 grand's worth of stuff, and at the time, that was all of my savings plus the money I'd saved up and made from just working at Tesco's and doing little jobs here and there for people. Right, and I was honestly so stressed that I can remember the day when everything was just going wrong, right? All of the stuff was falling to pieces, and I learned a lot of lessons that day. I learned a lot about myself, about business, about life in general. Right. It was a wake up call. It was a wake up call, but obviously from that, I literally had no money. So it was like the guy I was with at the time who said, "All right, cool, we can, I don't know, £500 to get you going," because he saw my potential, right? And to this day, I'm so glad I did that, right? And at the time, I had around £370. I had to go to my mum. I had to ask her that Mum, just I need 100 quid. Can you send me 100 quid? And she did. I paid for it, and then the next day, after implementing all the stuff and sending all my outbound reaches, inbound stuff, and everything, that was when it changed. I ended up making. That's when I realized it worked. Right? I was like, damn, I've been seeing these guys do all this for this long. Right? Imagine if I started 2 months ago, where I'd be now. I was thinking I made double the amount I just spent yesterday before 9:30 a.m. in the morning. Right? I just made more money than my mum made in a whole week. Right? Before 9:30 a.m. on a Monday morning. I'm thinking, damn, it works. Like I was generally shocked. I was like, damn, he just paid me £1,000 like on a 30-minute call. Right? I was shocked. Why it works, and I got him ended up getting him good results, and then from there business started growing. Right, that first month I ended up doing 6.8k, right, in my first month. Right, going from 500 pounds in 2 months to making 6.8k in 30 days. I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? I look back and I'm thinking that's a big jump, and it was purely because I lacked the knowledge, right? And I didn't have that experience and the know-how, right? Which a lot of you are probably suffering from. You might know how to post content, or you might know how to do a few other things, but it's about knowing the right stuff and implementing it at the right time and just doing everything to the T, right? Because once you get the rhythm going, you get a few clients under your belt, then you build that momentum and then you start killing it. And honestly, that first month completely changed my mindset. I I ended up smashing it the next few months after that, hit my first 10k, then ended up hitting my first 10k week, and I was like, damn, right, like life was changing. I can now look after my family. I don't have to worry about the price of my train ticket anymore. I can jump on the bus and not have to think about how much it's going to cost me to get there and back, right? Because these were all the things that I was generally struggling with like a few months before, right? And now it's not even an issue, right? I can literally go out every night and get dinner out and not have to think about it too much. Right? I'm not trying to say spend your money stupidly, but I'm just saying your life can change like that if you implement the right stuff and you work hard and do the right things, right? Because at the end of the day, the game's not always about working so hard. It's about working smart and working hard, right? Doing the right things, investing in yourself. And by me investing in my first mentor, what that did, it gave me a boost, right? Because in the end of the day, time is something that you can't get back, right? And by investing in someone to help you, asking someone who's older or anything like that, right? What you're doing, you're not just gonna make more money, but you're gonna save more time. You're gonna learn a lot more at a younger age if you're working with people who are a few years above you or are where you want to be. And one of the greatest things about what I do now is I can literally travel wherever I am, whenever I want, and make money whilst doing it. Right? I'm currently in Canary Wharf in an apartment with one of my guys making videos and just yeah, like just in our apartment, rented it out and yeah, just loving life, right? And I wouldn't be able to do this if I was working my typical 9 to 5 at Tesco's or I don't know, whatever you're doing, right? If I didn't take that first step and invested in myself. And right now, one of my missions is to help as many athletes who have been through those ups and downs because I know how hard it is to play for a football club or play for a club. I don't know if you're with anything, right? If you're a cricketer, if you're a hockey player, if you're a tennis player, if you're a swimmer, but getting told you're not good enough over and over again does get in your head, right? And it it's a make or break. Some people take it on the chin and they get on with it and they learn from it and it makes them get better. And some people really struggle, right? And to be honest, I was a bit of both. I really struggled, but I knew it was only up from here. So one of my missions is to help anyone who's been an athlete, right? They're physically in shape, they look good, and they need like another side hustle or something, right? Or you've just got an amazing physique, you look amazing, and you need to find a way that you can monetize it properly in order to make money, right? And live off it, right? Because at the end of the day, who doesn't want to make money and do what they love at the same time, right? It's a win-win, right? Imagine going to the gym, lifting weights and having a good time with your friends and traveling the world and making money at the same time. Like that's just the dream, right? If it isn't, then I don't know. It's totally up to you then. You're probably on the wrong video. But if you want to live that life of freedom, look after your family, travel when you want, do what you want, and make bank, then yeah, this is the golden age, right? This is your time to shine, literally. But I will say, like I have before, this journey isn't easy, right? I'm not giving you any look, start online fitness coaching, you're gonna make 10K in your first month. I'm not saying that, right? I've had plenty of sleepless nights, nights where I was like, I need to get this done. I need to do this. I can't go to bed now. I need to just knuckle down, right? And put in that work. I've had plenty of them. But the results, they're bloody worth it. And as I said before, now my main goal is to build a community of winners, right? In 3TM, my goal is for every single one of you to not just be making more money, but to mentally and physically and emotionally and everything in your life has just got that 10 times better. And I'll literally guide you every step of the way. So you would learn from all of my mistakes. You would have every single piece of detail that I used and I learned to make myself go from making that £500 in 2 months to crushing it and making 10K in 1 week. And I would tell you every step of the way. But a lot of you guys are probably thinking, why would I work with Jack? Like he's just a normal kid, but yeah, I am just a normal kid. I'm just like you. But I'm the one chilling here, living my dream life, doing what I love to do every day, and making money and looking after my family. And yeah, I understand that sometimes investing in yourself can be quite daunting, right? It was so daunting when I did it as well. But I've done it and I'm sure you can do it as well. And I'm here to guide you and help you along the way. So if this is something you are passionate about, you want to completely change your life and make more money than you would ever dream of. So if this is something you're passionate about and you're ready to take that first step, then give me a DM on Instagram and I'll get back to you. Or look, while you're here, you might as well have a look through my YouTube videos because I put so much free info on there to get you started, right? Because at the end of the day, I want to help you guys out as much as possible because I know a lot of people haven't even got £400 to their name like I did, right? And I'm so grateful that I had people around me who could support me, right? But look, if you are struggling, I have put a lot of free stuff on there for you. But if you want that one-to-one guidance and that step-by-step formula, then yeah, just give me a message on Instagram and we'll change your life together. So hopefully I'm looking forward to seeing you on that call. And if you have any questions, then look, just ping them over as well. I'll try and get back to as many as I can. And yeah, as always, trust the timing.